Good afternoon, or is it good evening already, I should say. Firstly, thank you very much to everyone. Thank you so much to Flatline Music, Icon International, Dylan and Sharon for putting this together, and everybody else. I don't know the name, so that's the first thing I want to say. Thank you very much, and thank you for all the support. And thank you to my act team for being here as well. Spark, Sheila, big ups to you guys. Unfortunately, Matthew couldn't be here today. He's actually traveling as we speak to Ghana. So he's doing good work on that side too, so he's very busy. So the artists, you guys are phenomenal. The music choice is, wow, it speaks. It speaks to the heart and it speaks to the cause. So thank you very much. A bit about Act Africa. I'm not going to go into all the detail. I've put brochures on the table. They actually go out. You can actually read about it, because that's what I would like you to do, as opposed to just hearing me. You can go onto our website, which you can see. Here's all the details here. That's our QR code if anybody wants to donate. It's on all of our boards, and that will give you a lot more detail on Act Africa. So it's come a long way. I've been involved, and the co-founder, along with Matthew Mensah, I'm chairperson and he's deputy chairperson of Act Africa. We've both been working with gender-based violence and human trafficking for a very long time. Lots has evolved in my life, leading to this point from the age of 13. When I was abducted, saved by my sister, thank God, otherwise I don't know what would have happened to me. And years went on, it stuck with me, and I always wondered what would have happened, what happened to the girls that never got away. I never thought one moment of human trafficking, because that was just not a word that was spoken about. I thought of rape and I thought of murder. Those are the only two things. But anyway, years went by, seen a lot of gender-based violence around me. Missing persons, missing young girls, milk bottles, things like that. Then Karaba Mokwena happened. It was very close to my family, very close to my daughter. And that shook us tremendously. Prior to that, always been involved in humanitarian work since my teens, with shelters, orphanages, feeding in the squatter camps, those kind of things. So it's just ingrained in me, in my blood. It's God's calling on my life. And being involved in the corporate world, climbing the corporate ladder for 32 years, but God had other plans for me since 2019, and I got kicked out of the corporate world, literally. And it's just been upward for me. The birth of Act Africa took place. We've been involved with Karaba Mokwena Foundation, which aided us in the birth of Act Africa. Because that was more on a normal gender-based violence. It focused more on that. And we needed to incorporate human trafficking, child trafficking, especially with Matthew's experience and my experience being involved in a rescue about 8-9 years ago of 2 young girls. And following on that, being involved with searching of and rescue of missing persons. A lot of it is kids. A lot of kids go missing, young girls. At the moment, kidnapping is on the rise, so please be careful. Be careful when you're jogging out there. Just in the week, friends of mine in Durban 2 weeks ago and here actually witnessed kidnappings take place. 2 women were actually taken. So I just ask everybody, please be careful out there. Your children, everything. And we know, we keep in mind the Moti brothers that have been kidnapped, and we pray for their safe return. Human trafficking, gender-based violence, everybody knows the ins and outs. We know what is human trafficking. It's when you are taken, you're not necessarily locked in a room, but you are being used to do something forcefully, and the other person is benefiting. And the benefit is financial. So I'm giving it to you in simple terms and not in the long story that is about human trafficking. You can read all about that. And the minute if they come across as wolf in sheep's clothing, it's never obvious. You are lured, you are manipulated into the situation. What brings you to that point? A lot of people get into that point, various forms of desperation. Desperation can come from poverty, can come from emotional needs, can come from material needs, which renders you vulnerable, or the person's vulnerable. And at the moment, because of poverty, the decline in poverty, I'll not say the decline, but decline in the economy, which is raising poverty and increasing the rate of poverty, it is raising the rate of gender-based violence, frustration in homes, as well as the rate at which people are being human trafficked. Because human trafficking is a business, it's supply and demand. There's a demand for a particular person, an organ, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, all of those alike. That's all on the rise. Why? It's a business. It means money for somebody at the expense of a child, of a teenager, of a young girl, of a young mother. And what happens to them in the end? They are drugged. They become enslaved to drugs. They are enslaved to their traffickers. And often they are killed when they are of no use, or just thrown out onto the streets and they become homeless. So that is the plight. And many times they are used and forced to become recruiters themselves. And that is the world of trafficking in a nutshell. It's very dangerous. It's a dark world. That's why we need to pray. Cannot do it without God. Gender-based violence, alike in our homes, we know there's a lot of that going on. Africa has created 2 games which are going to be out there digitally, as well as in a hard game, just to cater for everybody, those who do not have data and all of those kind of things, so that you can. The one game is called No to Violence, which tackles gender-based violence. The other one is called Stop the Traffic, which caters for human trafficking in its entirety. The aim of these games is preventative, to prevent children from becoming future perpetrators, and for those that are becoming victims, and to know where you can get help. So it's targeted at kids from the ages of, let's say, 10, 11, 12 to 18, and it will be filtered through right through to all the schools in South Africa. All children, it will be made available to them starting in South Africa, then filtered through into Africa, and then globally. So, with that being said, it's been trademarked. We're in final stages. Here's a young lady sitting here today that is the mastermind, one of the masterminds behind this game called No to Violence. And the 3 of us, Teresa, sitting over there, everybody, that's Teresa, myself and Matthew Mensa sat for hours and nights and days creating these 2 concepts. So we are ready. We need funding, we need partnerships to come on board to get it to the next level of putting it out there. So we've been working very hard. It is aimed at breaking these cycles, and it definitely will. So I don't want to talk too much about that, but except that, please, thank you so much for being mindful of these evils, and I urge you, in your communities, in your churches, wherever you are, in your businesses, talk about gender-based violence, talk about human trafficking. The awareness, the education needs to get out there. Speak to ACT Africa. There are other organizations as well. There are numbers you can call, and we will willingly come out and assist with your awareness, your education, or any questions you may have. Any cases, please report them. 0800 222 777. That's your National Resource Human Trafficking line. 0800 428 428 is your GBV line. You can see all our social media platforms, our email address and everything is on there. You'll see more of the information outside. Please take note, please take the pictures, keep it on your phone, spread it around, because that's the only way people will get help. Everybody is not vocal, but somebody may need it. You may be sending it to somebody and you can be saving a life. Our mission is saving lives through awareness and education, and at the same time providing tangibility to it so that we can make a difference in people's lives. I'm not going to speak about statistics or anything. It's out there. It's all over the show. Your children in your homes, speak to them. Communication is key. Your child can be sitting behind that laptop, busy on that phone, and be trafficked. It doesn't mean that you are locked up somewhere or somebody kidnaps you. That's not how it works. Your child can be going to school and back. That young lady can be going to work and back, yet she can be involved in a trafficking ring and may not be a recruiter, but is being required to do certain things against her will. Be it naked pictures, going to places, performing sexual acts, having to do things that's totally being drug mules, all of those kind of things. So there's a myriad of different types of things that traffickers do to young children, to young ladies, to men. It's all over that people don't even think of. So you need to educate yourself and just be careful out there. So from ACT Africa, thank you very much. We're an organization that is out there to make a difference in a very tangible way. Preventative, we do not do counseling, but we will refer you to the best, reputable, certified counselors. We work with many shelters, orphanages, where kids have been abandoned, abused, trafficked, women, children. We work with all of them. So your support, your presence here today means a lot and speaks volumes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hilary. That's